nuggets, headlines and fun, true crime tales and a wild rerun. Bits of news to brighten your day in the latest, wackiest, petty expressway. Scandals, gators, space coast too, crimes that baffle and headlights askew. When the world gets dark, we bring the cheer. Newsy nuggets, the good, the grim, the weird is here.
Hey guys, it's Mo, and we kind of went over this a little bit with Mornings with Mo yesterday, but I wanted to get you over to the Karen Reed trial. And this article is actually longer than I thought, and there's more about, well, real vampires. Y'all, I don't know. I have no idea what is going on here. So let's see. Inside the secret society of real life vampires. Again, I don't care if you cosplay as a vampire, but you're not a mythical creature. Let's be totally honest. Like, I would love to be a petticorn, but, as my fursona, if I ever get into, being a furry. But, I mean, the likelihood that I'm going to put on my LinkedIn real live petticorn, no. Not to mention, I don't have a LinkedIn, but I'm just saying, let's call this what it is, advanced cosplay. Mobsters, doctors, politicians, and musicians. What are the common thread between these disparate people? Well, they're all in Australia's secret society of real vampires. Now, spawned from the goth subculture, this shadowy community, known as a vampire court, now includes Aussies from all walks of life. Think real vampires are just pale people drinking red cordial? No, think again. To many of the followers, the True Blood lifestyle is about more than fashion. Again, advanced cosplay. It's about survival. Are the werewolves coming to get you? Is this oh God, what is that Kate Beckinsale movie where the vampires and the werewolves are all fighting? Whatever. Really? Really? What are you surviving? Also, if you ingest too much iron into your system, it can shut down your organs. Just throwing that out there. So human blood contains a lot of iron, and it could get you sick. I'm not a doctorologist, nor am I a vampirologist, nor did I even know that there should be a vampirologist. Possibly a proctologist for these people. I don't know. And though they might not transform into bats or live forever, they really do drink human blood, wear surgically enhanced fangs, and let loose in vampire balls. If there's not a kink element to this, I'm going to call this, like, some furries, there is a sexual component to this. Change my mind. Now, and hey, if this floats your boat, yanks your chain, I don't care. Like, do whatever you want. If this gets you, hotter than East August, Austin, Texas, then go out and be your vampy self. Just make sure it's consensual. I don't care. And I think we need to go back to don't ask, don't tell. And what I mean by that is, unless I ask you about your kink, your sexuality, or any of those like kind of personal things, how about you don't tell me? And if I ask, I'm going to ask you all the questions. I feel like that is a good idea. Again, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Don't make it your personality. Because you're a person first. I really don't care if you, pop balloons to get a stiffy in your own home. Although, if I find out about it, I might ask you a gajillion and 12 questions. Not disrespectfully, just I'm kind of a curious person, and weird things tend to, butter my, well, I'm not going to say that, tend to get my mind just, in all different directions. And honestly, could we go back to that? That would be really cool. So, are they monsters? Are they medical mysteries, or just misunderstood? They claim that they keep to themselves, they aren't dangerous, but some critics claim that some vampires use this cloak of secrecy to exploit people. Now, for centuries, vampire lore has compelled us. Tales of blood-sucking beasts can be found in ancient cultures around the world, including First Nations or Native people. I don't know what we're supposed to call them anymore. I was just thinking people, but there you go. In the last few decades, though, they have been forever, affixed into pop culture as the romanticized symbol of finding identity in the world. Now, this romanticism is at the heart of a complex history between real vampires and Sydney local Crystal, who doesn't want to share her real name. Now, on one hand, Crystal claims that they drugged her, drank her blood without consent, and even forced her to drink the blood of others. And on the other hand, she remains transfixed by their mythical morbidity. Again, ma'am, if they unconsensually took your blood and Cosby'd you, they is not your friends. I don't know how to explain this. I didn't know I would need to explain this in those kind of details. I figured like once you got your blood unconsensually taken you wouldn't want to go hang out at the next potluck, but who am I to judge? Just a little. Just a scotch. I'm a judge. Now, for Crystal, it all began when she was invited to an opulent mansion party in Sydney's affluent suburb of Cluse when she was just 18. Now, Crystal, who had been drawn into the Gothic culture at the time, said the house belonged to the father of a friend who worked as a nurse. Inside the party, she claimed she found herself in imposing company. She was greeted by Yakuza and triads, otherwise known as the Japanese and Chinese mafia. Again, there are subtle warning signs that maybe you're not in a safe place, and I would think the triads and Yakuza, although are they friends or I thought they were deadly enemies? Look, I'm not up on my Asian gangs, I know, shocking. That being said, again, subtle signs you might be in a dangerous place. There's a bunch of gangsters, mobsters, and international mobsters, in this building. Here's your sign, Bill Engvall would say. They were just standing around wearing suits and watching anime movies, Crystal told news.com.au, and they weren't shy about what they did. As it happened, the mafia is not the only bloodthirsty group these men belong to. Crystal soon learned that they were part of the Australian chapter of the International Vampire Court. Do you need a passport for that? Who's the president? Do they have meetings? Is it like the most rare blood type gets to be the leader? I don't know. Now, inside, she was given a glass of champagne, and shortly after drinking it, she claims that she sat on a couch and lost consciousness. Again, after the triads and Yakuzas, the other very subtle hint that you are in a bad, bad place is that they Cosby'd you, and yet you still want to hang out with them. Please make this make sense. I'm not trying to be a mean, judgmental, stick in the mud, but come on here, throw me a bone. I'm trying to follow your logic tree, and it's just not working out for me. Now, she woke up and she alleged she felt lightheaded and her neck and arms were dotted with what she calls love bites. Now, looking back, she believed that she was probably Cosby'd, but there were no other signs of any sort of SA or anything that terrible. I didn't know what to think at the time. I'm in danger. That's what you should think. Before she left, she was given a dark diagnosis. They told me I'd been infected with the virus. Again, fourth or fifth not so subtle hint that you are in flippin' flapjack danger, ma'am. She never reported the experience to the police. Indeed, real vampires would come back to haunt her before long. Okay, advanced cosplayers would come back to haunt her before long. After moving to a Newcastle monastery to study business. Is monastery like a college in Australia? Because a monastery here is where monks go. So do the monks teach business? I mean, okay. Now, there, Crystal met members of that local vampire court. Apparently, it's just like, it's a franchise. While things started safely, one night the group pressured her to drink a bottle of red that was supposedly mixed with human blood. They say it's time to join us. Again, subtle hit 11-12 that you are in a effed up place. You can't choose to join the society, they choose you. And here's the thing, this is how cults, this is how, secret societies, this is how All of these things operate it. They're exclusive. They make you want to join. They tell you how difficult it is to get here, how only the special get into this particular group. They love bomb you. They kind of, again, ma'am, I know you were only 18, but did not any of your spidey, kind of that spine tingly, kind of that internal ick factor go off for you? Now, feeling powerless to peer pressure, she agreed, but the court came harder than ever. Another night, Crystal woke up with a puncture wound on her wrist. Now, Crystal believes that vampires fed on her while she was asleep, and she kept the incident quiet because the court had powerful people on their side. There are doctors, nurses, business owners, musicians. She said it's very secretive. From the outside, they live normal lives. Until now, Crystal kept her experience to herself out of fear that she wouldn't be taken seriously. And ma'am, look, here's the deal. I'm not trying to dog on you, but again, at any point, you could have chosen not to associate with these people, yet you keep going back for more after they hurt you. And I get that weird dynamic of wanting to be in a group and, continually kind of jumping over your own personal boundaries to be in an exclusive group. And I get you were 18, so I'm trying to forgive you all that. But there was nothing that kind of said ick about this. But she wants to raise awareness. I want revenge for how I was treated. Now, despite this messy history, Crystal's experience with the court was forever imprinted to her self-image, and she hopes one day to launch a safe space for people who want to appreciate vampire culture. Crystal's disturbing account is not unlike a scene in a horror movie where vampires lunge from the shadows and maul a victim's neck before sucking on, their blood. It's important to know that vampiric crime is rare. Vampiric crime. Again, these are advanced cosplayers. Stop calling them vampires. I mean, again, we don't call furries, anthropomorphic, animals when the people are donning their costumes. Why are we giving such deference to advanced cosplayers? I don't know, unless, maybe one of them's the president. Who knows? For most members, this community offers a sense of belonging, and some of the courts are heavily involved in charity causes. Not all vampires feed on blood, and for those that do, the practice is traditionally safe. Sure. Now, how does this actually work between advanced cosplaying vampires and their donors? Let's find out. Now, what's known as a donor will willingly offer their blood to a vampire. Both take medical tests and other precautions, and complications are rare. Which is fine, which begs another question. Why? Now, real vampires claim that they feel sick and lethargic if they don't eat human blood. The DSM-5 is going to have a field day with these people. And here's the thing. These feelings can be totally psychosomatic. Again, you imagine that you're a vampire, you wholeheartedly believe this for some reason, and your mind tells your body to act sick and lethargic if you don't have, your fix. Again, I don't think there's really a chemical imbalance or something medically needed that they would have to have blood. Again, your body cannot break down the iron in your blood very well, can lead to complications. I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not a doctorologist or an advanced cosplaying vampire, so take my words with a grain or 12 of salt. And they say that it balances their energy. Now, some believe the thirst for blood is a sign of a deeper mental health problem. So it is all a big delusion. When vampires follow a code of silence, it's not easy to say, but the secrecy is well founded. They've learned hard that this lifestyle inspires revulsion. Look, again, I don't care if you want to drink each other's blood, have an orgy or anything. Just make sure it's consensual. And I'm not going to ask. Blood kind of makes me queasy and pass out. So I guess I RSVP no as an advanced cosplaying vampire. But there you have it. Now, at least one is on it, or I'm sorry. Now, most Australian vampires I contacted for the story declined to take part in it. One local fanged figure you need to know is Jason DeMarco, otherwise known as Don Jason. Don Jason. Yeah, that's a vampire name if I ever heard one. Don Jason. Now, he runs the Sydney's Vampires group meetup. He's also an electioneering member of the Liberal Party, bringing a new meaning to the idea of a blood-sucking politician. But at least this one is honest. In a YouTube video made by married artists Jilly and Mark Shatner, Jason is seen wearing Edwardian, era clothing, surgically enhanced veins, and a white smile. Among the graves of Waverly Cemetery, he says Don Jason knew when he was 4. I was different from other children. Jason said I was going to go up to become Dracula. He says he drinks exclusively from razor-sliced thighs of female donor. Blech. They don't just consent to the feeding; they're aroused sexually by it. Hey, look, if you find your partner that's into your same kink, I'm trying not to be grossed out about it, but I'm super grossed out about it, but I'm trying to be kind, but just it gives me the big ick. They seem to get a big O every time, he claimed. People can assume we're insane. Why do you need to drink, blood? The only thing I have to worry about is my innate illness, which is ironically an illness associated with the vampire myth. My vitals can shut down. I look like a corpse, and people who had it used to be buried alive. Mark Shatner and said that Don Jason suffers from porphyria, a rare blood disorder thought to have inspired early vampire mythology. Porphyria is an interesting disease. It's about prions in your body, and your body can't really break down prions. So it makes you sensitive to the sun. You're extremely pale. You can have rashes. There are many YouTube channels that explain it much better than me. Roanoke Gaming, his breakdown of Count Dimitrescu and the Resident Evil Villages games actually gives a good breakdown. I know it's a gaming name, but he is actually a microbiologist who kind of takes fictional characters and explains the medical things that they could have. So it's a cool channel. I love it. And it's not Karen Reed. So it can cause extreme sensitivity to sunlight, skin blisters, and a purplish red discoloration. Now, Jason is an extreme example. Some people just like vampires for the good old-fashioned doof. Now, the dawn of the vampire ball is misty. Somewhere during the rise of Europe's medieval masquerade balls, a darker event emerged in honor of the undead. These days, the Vampire Ball Circuit is an international network spanning Romania, the US, and Australia. Melbourne's annual Cape Noctum Vampire Ball was recently held in April. You would think they would do it in winter when there's less sunlight. Or wait, is April in winter in Australia? Maybe fall in Australia? I know they're backwards from us. It's too early to figure this out. Now, the founder of the event, who wants to remain anonymous, says it's about something bigger than costumes. It's more than just an opportunity to don elaborate attire. The Cape Nocturne or Carpe Noctum ball is a celebration of identity and belonging. After a signature bloodbath cocktail, ingredients undisclosed, the crowd comprised of goths, role players, and the real deal. Again, advanced role players, not the real deal. Vampires are mythical, unless, there's going to be an actual DNA study that shows that they are completely and utterly apart from the human genome. I am not calling them real vampires. Just no. Now, they take part in rituals including sacrificing and lifts the veil between the living and the dead. Very few vampires claim to have magical powers that you would find in Twilight, but if I had to throw money on one of them being superhuman, Andreas Bathory is one. He dwells on the sprawling grounds of Brahms' Dracula Castle in Romania, Transylvania. Within these walls, Bathory drinks donated blood, sometimes sleeps in a coffin, and channels Vlad the Impaler. It's not merely an event, Bathory says, it's a portal. Now, Bathory is the leader of the Ordel Dracul, a vampire court based in Transylvania, and he says that even more Aussies are signing up. New initiates are joining from Australia. Some of my dearest allies come from Melbourne and the Gold Coast. Australia resonates with the old blood of people sentenced to go to Australia as a prison. Or I don't know. Now, Bathory believes that these vampires thrive in silence. Just because we're not loud doesn't mean we're not present. In our world, we prefer to walk in the line of shadows. The University of Western Sydney's Dr. Adam Pasami charted the rise of vampire advanced cosplaying in his book Sociology of Religion for Generations X and Y. He believes it is a hyper-real religion, a modern hybrid of religion, philosophy, and popular culture that helps people find their identity in a noisy world. The vampire is no longer a monster that needs to be destroyed, he said. It is now a superhuman type character that all people aspire to become to realize their full potential. Again, vampires are not real. As the society becomes more consumerist, I expect hyper-real religions like vampires to grow, but it's tricky to quantify. Are they people who identify with the image alone? How far do their practices go? How long will they keep them up? Though the Australian vampire groups have picked up thousands of members on social media, and the Australian Bureau of Statistics said in a statement they don't formally recognize vampires, vampires don't describe a standalone group to any statistical standard classification used to disseminate census data. The ABS regularly reviews statistics and standard classifications and holds public consultations to ensure standard classifications reflect Australians' community. Until vampires are socially acknowledged, we may never know how many walk among us. I don't I mean, you're going to put what on the status? Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, and then all the way down is going to be vampire? I guess. I don't know. Look, as I have said multiple times in this article, if this floats your boat, if this yanks your chain, and you're not hurting anyone, then have at it. But when it goes to unconsensual, when you are allegedly Cosbying a chick to get her blood, that's where I say no. Again, I don't care what you do, but they're not real vampires. Can we at least agree that they're advanced cosplayers? I don't know, you guys. This is a What in the Walmart Rapture article. Who knows? I will see you guys for Mornings with Mo and the Karen Reed trial with Baker. We are winding up. Hopefully, dear God, please say we are winding up, and possibly could be having closing statements as soon as Friday or Monday. So I am ecstatic that this will almost be over. I've had a great time with Val and Baker, but this trial has just near about killed me. So I will see you there. As always, thank you for sharing your time with me. Please do all of the YouTube-y things, like, subscribe, comment, all of that jazz. I will see you soon. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness doesn't equal doormat. Bye, you guys.